You're fine.
How you ladies looking up there? Can you see each other? Can you see yourselves?
We can see each other.
In the banner a little?
We can see the banner.
Okay. Now I gotta sneak past y'all.
Come on down. Not under the table. Yoga.
Y'all can start up anytime you want, but they got his own mic.
Right.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. You are listening to I Will Live Until I Die on Elevations Radio. Thank you for joining us this morning. My in-studio guest is Clotea Mack, entrepreneur, mother.
We haven't done our intro music right yet.
Excuse me.
What?
Okay, we haven't started here yet, right? Or we just let it go? Okay, go ahead.
So we're getting set up as usual. I want to thank you for joining me on my second in-studio show. After a year of having I Will Live Until I Die, we are now in the studio live with our guest. A little history and housekeeping for you today. I Will Live Until I Die is an outreach of liver education, advocacy, and prevention services. The acronym is LEAPS. LEAPS is a nonprofit organization that addresses liver disease in the African American community. We know that liver disease is the 8th leading cause of death for our African American community, but a lot of it can be changed by behaviors. Our show here is dedicated to helping people live the best lives that they can, no matter what shape they find themselves in. We have a saying of embracing our new normal. When you get a diagnosis, whether it's of liver disease, depressions, cancers, divorce, what have you, it brings about a new normal. You have to adjust some things. You may have to change. It may be medication, the way you eat. And so what we do on I Will Live Until I Die is saying I will live. I'm not going to give up. I'm not rolling over. I'm not going to cower in a corner. I'm going to live, and the way it's written is with a capital L, capital I, capital V, capital E, exclamation point, because our focus is on living. It came about because I went to the doctor when I got diagnosed with liver disease back in 2002. And my first question was, "Doctor, am I going to die?" And he looked at me and said, "We're all going to die." At first, I was a little offended until I thought about it and said, well, he has a point there. So I asked myself, suppose you live for another 50 years, what you going to do? And I decided I want to live. I don't want to wait. And here it is, over a decade later, I'm still here, healthy, vibrant, and living. So all of my guests come, they talk to you about things they've overcome, how they chose to live instead of giving up. Our guest today, Clotea, is going to talk about how unforgiveness can impact your healing, any kind, physical, mental, emotional. It's toxic, and we're going to talk a lot about that as we go along. I have a friend, I told her I wanted to send a shout out to Pastor Denise Cunningham Doggett of Lakeshore Christian Church. This month is her women's anniversary, where they celebrate women. And on July 12th, they're having a time of refreshing for young women. And on July 21st, it'll be one called Are You Ready? And both of these are from 7 till 9 in the evening. The Women's Day program will be the last Sunday of the month. And during the month, they're accepting donations of clothing and everything else to raise funds. So please go out and visit Lakeshore Christian Church. And it's a church where everybody is welcome with love. I think that's all that I have except for our show. If you want to call in, the number is 440-252-0518. That's 440-252-0518. Please call in, join the conversation, send a shout out. We look forward to hearing from you. And also, what you see in front of me is I have a new CD, and it's called, By His Stripes. And it's a CD I made of healing scriptures that have ministered to me throughout different trying times in my life. I would ask you to buy one because it's a fundraising effort for LEAPS. Because everything that I do, the funds go in to helping you. LEAPS provides household help, transportation assistance, groceries, help with bills, whatever we can do. And this is our I Will Live Until I Die jersey. I think that's it. So you can see it. I Will Live Until I Die is on there. And I think that's it. So I want to thank you all for tuning in. And now I want to turn to my guest who, Clotea, there is no need to be nervous. You were born for this. Can I give a little history?
Yes, please.
I met this young lady. She and my daughter were in elementary?
Yes.
Okay, she was our neighbor. And she was this little kid from down the street, and she and her daughter, she and my daughter brought me and her mom together, and we became a family. I have watched her grow. I've watched her journey. I've watched as she went to college and all the other things. But one thing about Clotea that never changed was the smile, the positive attitude, the inspirational message that she gave even as a child. I am so honored to be here with her today because it's my way of saying, you know, when the elder lets you know they approve, it does mean something.
Yes.
Because we know you. So I'm not someone that met her yesterday. I've seen her journey, and she's walked it with integrity. And so with nothing further from me, because I'll get kind of mushy.
I know, I'm over here now like, that's enough.
I give you Clotea Mack.
Oh, great morning, everyone. I am Clotea Mack, as she said, and I am a teacher. I've been a teacher for, I'm starting my 23rd year of teaching language arts. I love to teach, and you'll see why a little bit later. I have 4 children. Christine is 27, and Julian is 18, Jalen is 15, and my darling angel Chloe is 7. And those are the light of my life. I'm here today because I'm talking about forgiveness, and so I want to give you a little bit of a background as to how this came about. I've experienced some things. I tell the women in my workshop that I've experienced some things. I've experienced sexual molestation. I've experienced abandonment. I've experienced infidelity. And through all of those things, it became apparent to me that I wanted to keep the right attitude. I accepted Christ for real, in 1994. You know, I was going to church a lot, and I was, you know, hemming and hawing here and there, but I really accepted him as my Lord and my Savior in 1994. And so when I did that, I knew that there was a certain walk that I wanted to, not that I had to, like we're under the law, but I wanted to maintain a certain walk. And so when I experienced infidelity in my marriage, my husband at the time had cheated and actually brought forth a wonderful daughter. And I knew immediately that I did not want to be one of those old people who was bitter and angry and always scowling on their face. And so I prayed immediately and said, God, I don't want to be cynical. I don't want to be unforgiving. I want to be forgiving. And so I went about and I did some research. And so while I'm not a psychologist, and so I don't have the educational background, I have the experience. I've read about it, I've researched about forgiveness, and most importantly, I have walked it out. And so I have a unique perspective when I talk to the women. And so I began to read, and I began to look at articles, and I went to counseling, and at one point I had 2 therapists, and at one point I was going twice a week. I said, I know I just saw you Monday, but can I come in again, please? I need to work through this. And so I taught a mini workshop at my church about the dangers of unforgiveness. And here recently, I lost my mom probably a year ago. And what I'm finding is that the most dangerous type of unforgiveness is the one that we hold towards ourselves.
Yes, yes.
And so that's very damaging. And so I had a lot of unforgiveness in regards to God, and I know people are like, what, but I was angry with God because I felt like you took my mom. I was angry with him.
Yes.
I was angry with myself because I felt like maybe I should have seen the signs more. It was a lot of emotions that came right on the tail of a divorce. And so I said, you know what, I need to work through this, and I began again to do the work.
Yes.
And that is what the Forgiveness Forward workshop is about. Women come in feeling like they are entitled to the wound, but I want to empower them to do the work.
Yes.
Because it's work, and it's not just I forgive and then you wake up the next morning and you're flying on cloud nine. It's actually work.
Yes.
And forgiveness is for the courageous person. And one thing I do teach them is when you do not forgive, it impacts your physical body. So when you talk about living and living well, despite your circumstance, whether you've been dealt with, you've done something to yourself or someone else has done something to you, or circumstances beyond your control,
Yes.
if you want to live well, then you must forgive. It is a heart issue.
Yes.
And so that is where the workshop was born from. After my mom passed, I felt a stirring, and I said, Lord, I know you want me to do something, but I don't know what it is that you want me to do. So here's the deal. We got a deal.
Okay.
Whatever it is you want me to do, I'll do it.
Yes.
I need you. It's kind of like, go to a land, I will show you. It's like, I'm not going to show you before you step out. Are you willing to step out? Yes, I'm willing to step out. He said, can you teach women how to forgive? And I said, well, I had to learn how to forgive. I think I could teach. I love teaching.
Yeah.
I think I could teach women how to forgive. And so God literally gave me the curriculum. I pulled out my old notes from 2008. 9 years later, it's still relevant. Forgiveness is always relevant.
Always.
And so I pulled it out. He gave me a curriculum. I launched out. I called the library and I said, this is going to sound weird, but I want to put on workshops to teach women how to forgive. And she said, are you a business? Are you going to be selling anything? I said, no, I want to teach women how to forgive. She's like, oh, sure. And so she opened up her doors, and I did my first workshop. And I still get women who come in and they're kind of like looking like a forgiveness workshop. What is going on here? Because they know that they need it, but they don't know what to expect.
Yes.
And I literally teach them how to forgive.
Yes. That is so exciting. And as we talked about earlier, in my years of ministry in healing and deliverance, what I've seen is those people that are bound with unforgiveness and resentments and anger, they don't thrive.
No.
It seems like the illness is, the symptoms and everything is worse than that next person that maybe had that same diagnosis.
Yes.
And a lot of it is the toxicity. And so I'm so glad you're here, because when I'm ministering and I'm praying over people and I'm telling them about the healing power of Jesus Christ, and they're saying yes, but they still harbor that that unforgiveness. So could you go a little more in depth of just, what that's about?
So a lot of women, when they register, first of all, I don't ask them what it is that they need to forgive, because at that time it's not important.
Right.
When they come, I let them give the pain a voice. So it's important to acknowledge what it is that you have to forgive.
Yes.
And so they're able to go to a place and say, I really want to be free, but every time I think about the incident, I feel numb or I feel guarded. And so they get a chance to work it out with the partner, and they get a chance to talk. As women, a lot of times we talk through our own deliverance. We talk it right on out.
Yes.
They come in kind of like, what? And they get to talk it out. And then I literally teach them what forgiveness is and what it is not. So say, for example, it is not forgetting. I said the person who said forgive and forget never went through nothing.
They never
Because
went.
really, in order to forgive, you must remember.
You have to, especially so you don't go back to that same place. Yes.
Exactly. You must remember. And so the other misconception is that forgiveness means reconciliation. It does not always mean reconciliation. You may forgive a person in your heart, and it is well with you when you see them. You may actually be able to pray for them from a sincere heart. But it doesn't mean that your relationship is going to go back to where it was.
Exactly.
And so we talk about those barriers to forgiveness. The fact that playing the victim feels good. You like for
It
people
really
to say,
does.
"Oh,
Yeah.
he left you.
Yes.
Oh, you were such a good wife. You're so beautiful." And you're like, "Yeah, he left me. Yeah, he hurt me."
Yes.
So you have people around you who are helping you to lick your wound instead of heal your wounds. And so the biggest thing I would say is that women understanding that you can forgive. People don't think it's a choice because they look more at the wound than at the choice. They think, well, this happened so long ago and it hurt so bad and you don't know what he did. And I say, but it's still a choice. And so there are some very hard truths that I have to tell them, but they know that it's out of love. I say, you may not like me, but at the end you'll love me because you'll feel so free.
Yes.
But they have to understand it is a choice, and I want to empower you to make that choice today.
Yes.
It isn't a once in a lifetime decision. It is a decision to begin a journey. Because forgiveness is a journey and it comes in layers. And so when I had to forgive my husband initially for having the baby, we were in leadership in the church. I was assistant pastor and he was an elder. And so I knew from having brothers and sisters from my father's side that I wanted for my daughter, because she is my daughter, to be a part of our children's lives. So when we had to tell the children, that was another layer of forgiveness. There was a fork in the road right there. Like, okay, you can rehash what happened, or you can forgive him again. You can go in another depth, another level of forgiveness. So I chose to do that. When we took her to church, and people were looking, kind of scratching their heads like, you're a daughter, but I don't remember seeing you pregnant. How did this come about? It's like, girl, let me tell you the story. Because when you're free, you can tell the story. It's no shame, you know, no condemnation, no guilt. So you could tell the story. So I said, okay, now because of the embarrassment, though, because there's still embarrassment. And here's the key with forgiveness. You have to be authentic and honest about your feelings. A lot of times in the kingdom, we cover it up with scripture. We shout over it. We just suppress it. We have big collars on. We speak in tongues very long and loud, but there is still that unforgiveness because we're not being authentic to the experience. So it's very important for you to get healed. You got to keep it real, or you won't heal. If you're in a facade, you will not heal. And so those things are very, it doesn't matter how long, and this is the big thing, doesn't matter how long, how much, whatever you're going through, you can forgive. And that in itself is empowering, because maybe you didn't have a choice. Most of the time you didn't have a choice as to what happened to you, but you have a choice. You can take your life back. You can live. You can live until you die. You can live. And it's so empowering to say, you know what? Yes, he left me. Yes, he cheated on me. Yes, I have this disease. Yes, this happened. But guess what? I can forgive myself and I can forgive others. And there is a freedom that is unexplainable. Because forgiveness is a gift to yourself. But we think by harboring those feelings that we can manipulate the person who harmed us. And guess what? They're going on with their life. They're probably on to the next person. They're going on to the next person.
Okay. I want to take a breather in here. Our phone number is 440-252-0518. That's 440-252-0518.
You have a call. You have a call.
And we do have a call. You can look right over there. I think that, oh no, our picture's not there. Hello? Pamela, the Encourager Reed? Good morning, good morning.
Good morning. Good, good, good.
Do me a favor. Go ahead. Hello?
Yes. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. And it's when you have that heart check, you see, and this is why forgiveness is a hard thing. When you check your heart, when you see that person and you can honestly within yourself not get that, one pastor described it as a
Yeah.
You know, when they walk in the room, you That's something that you have to be aware of. But what I'm teaching the women is setting boundaries.
Yes.
And so when somebody shows you who they are, believe them the first time. We don't have to keep opening the door to that person. So you forgive them. It may be a situation where you tell them, I forgive you. It may be a situation where you don't have to, where this is something that's resolved within you. But it does not mean that they are over for Sunday dinner. It does not mean that you are texting them and you're best friends and you're even friends anymore. Because sometimes the person who hurt you was in the first row, but in you forgiving them and then setting boundaries, healthy boundaries, because forgiveness allows you to set healthy boundaries. So it sounds something like this. You know what? I'll pray for her. I love her from a distance, as opposed to, I can't be bothered with that. No, because she's such and such and such. That's that healthy boundary. You may have to move her to the fifth row. So it doesn't mean she's out of your life. It doesn't mean that you have any ill intent or ill feelings towards her. But you have set the boundary because you understand what that relationship was like. And sometimes in order to keep forgiveness, it's important to set that boundary with that person.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Pamela, for calling in. I hope you'll stay tuned for the information on her next workshop so that you can follow up and be a part of it. Okay. Yes. And once again, thank you also for your support and for joining us. And you have a blessed day in the Lord today, okay? Love you. Bye-bye. We have some comments. Some people commented today. Corrine said, I'm on time for once. Kellyanne says, I love you, Chloe. What a message you have to share. Pamela, who was just on, said, good morning. Janice Borders said, awesome, Chloe. So excited for what's to come for you. And she typed in, Pamela does not mean reconciliation. So those are just some of the comments that we have. And so people are listening in.
Yes.
I want to go back quickly to something you spoke on. You said, if there is unforgiveness because of divorce, and you named a number of things, but then you said, or because of health reasons. And I wanted to go back to that because I deal a lot in HIV ministry and AIDS and so many other, even diabetics that are having complications that beat themselves up. I was at a nursing home with a lady, and all she kept saying is, if I had done this, if I had taken my medication on time, if I had, and I'm saying, but you got to forgive yourself because you're feeding into the dis-ease. So I'm wondering, and the ones with AIDS or other things are saying, if I hadn't used drugs or if I hadn't slept with so-and-so, if you know. So could you speak to that about forgiving yourself for your health, the consequences of choices?
Yes. Well, forgiveness, especially in the senses that you said, keeps you a prisoner of the past. Unforgiveness, I'm sorry.
Yes.
So it always keeps you looking backward. If I had done this, if I had done that, and really in reality, we don't know, right? We do not know. And so we like to play little mini guys. Well, if this would have been this, then I would have. If I wouldn't have, then I would have. And so you're exactly right. It makes the disease worse. Because so you're not only fighting the disease, you're fighting the symptoms of unforgiveness on top of what you're already dealing with. Yes. And that is spiritual, it's from your soul, it's your emotional. And so you're not only physically sick, then now you're emotionally and psychologically ill. Yes. And you're feeding, so one feeds into the other.
It becomes a vicious cycle.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So you have to break the cycle. And I love what you said about the spiritual meeting the natural. Yes. If you're on medication, take your medication. But also do your meditation. Medication.
Yes.
You know, if you know you need to forgive. So you're hitting that thing from all angles. Exactly. Because it can lead to arthritis. And all types. I meant to bring it with me, but I have a list at the workshop. I have a list of diseases and illnesses that come from unforgiveness, and it is a pretty exhaustive list. It can lead to fatigue and insomnia. So when we're thinking about living well, we're not just thinking living disease-free,
Yes.
but being able to sleep, being able to focus, being able to concentrate. All of those things are impeded by unforgiveness.
Depression is
Yeah,
a big one.
depression, absolutely.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
all of those things come from unforgiveness, and it's like, why wouldn't you forgive? Why
Exactly.
wouldn't you?
Exactly.
So it's not like why should I? This person did this to me. Why wouldn't you forgive, knowing the physical consequences that you're opening the door to? Basically, you're just opening the door to them. And if you're fighting another physical ailment, it's compounding the problem, because your soul, your emotions, those things are also fighting along with your physical health.
And that is so true. I know for a lot of people that whole wrong concept. If I forgive, I'm weak. If I forgive, they'll take advantage of
Yes,
me.
yes, yes.
If I forgive, they'll think that what they did was okay. And so I know a lot of it is people not even, like you said earlier, forgiveness is really not for them.
No.
It's for you.
Yes.
And I think that what you're saying is so important, because there's so many levels of why people are unable to forgive, and some of it's even upbringing of what our parents taught us.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, about being tough, being strong, don't let them do, you know. So what we're going to do really quickly is take a brief break for about a few minutes. Again, I thank you all for staying with us. We're going to take just a short break, and we will be back. For some of you, you'll be able to hear our music, because we have nonstop music. Let me tell you about Elevations before I go.
Tell it.
Elevations Radio, first of all, is the brainchild of two extraordinary women, Robin and myself. And it is a program, a network, not just a program, a network. We are on 24/7. We offer talk radio, nonstop original music that we are the only station that you will hear it on. We have exceptional speakers, and we also have people that are signing on to host shows. If you have an idea, if you have something you think will benefit the community, if you have a voice that you think needs to be heard, you need to contact us and come in for an interview, and let's sit down and see if it is a fit for what we do here. So, with that being said, and that being station identification, we will take a break now. Enjoy the music. Thanks.
Pull your mic a little closer. Grab the back. Pull that towards you. There you go.
Okay.
That was awesome. And what we're going to start doing is taking a break out in the lobby. That way,
How many songs you gonna do?
just one. That way, if we talk about anything, you know, do our business to Facebook. We'll be back, Facebook.
Thank you for everything.
Yeah, lock that so, because we should be the only people in the building. Song still playing, right? Song is still playing, right?
I said, ooh, see, that's right. Mama put her stamp on me. That's what I need. Very nice.
Thank you so much. We're back. We're back. You all could not hear that music, could you? I tell you, we got some good music slamming in here.
It was
That's
good.
why it was good.
It was good.
And it's all original, and at some point you'll be able to hear it. I am back with my exciting and exceptional guest, Clotea Mack, mompreneur, entrepreneur, minister, workshop leader, just so many things. And our topic today is unforgiveness. And I tell you, freedom is coming through. Even those of you who are at home, I know that the Spirit is coming through to you and that you're examining yourself. Our phone number is 440-242-0518. That's 252-0518. Call in and join the conversation. We're also live on Facebook, which you can tell because you're looking at me. So now what I'd like us to talk about is church hurt.
Done that. Been there.
Yeah, so many people have walked away from the church because of being hurt, because someone said something, because a sermon came that felt like the pastor had got in their business and someone had told, or even that the pastor was wrong.
Yes.
Sometimes we in the church, we judge harshly.
Yes.
So let's talk about church hurt and the process of forgiving, because people turn their back on all of their spiritual and everything because of anger.
Yes.
So
Let's talk about it. Yes, I had to. That's one of the areas where I had to forgive. Where you give your heart to people and you are wounded in a place where it's supposed to be a healing place. And so it's the same process. It starts with a decision to forgive. Even though the wound may feel like it hurts more because you've given more and it's in a very unexpected place. When I experienced that, I walked out still that was a longer process, and we were just talking on break how forgiveness is a process. It is not I forgive and then you wake up and everything is fine. It's a journey, and some days you may feel like you're doing well and you're jogging, and other days you may feel like you're barely crawling. That was a crawling journey for the church forgiveness. Or the church hurt. So one thing I tell people is that unforgiveness poisons your perspective of people. And so because I had experienced church hurt from a female pastor, at one point in time, I will never, ever go to another church with a female pastor. It was poisoning my perspective.
Right, yes.
And it was actually closing doors and building walls. And the thing about unforgiveness is that it builds walls. And so people are not able to get in, but the real you is unable to get out.
Oh, you're a prisoner.
Yes, you are a prisoner.
Yes.
And so people who are in ministry, they go from one church to another church with the church hurt. And you're thinking because you switched buildings that you switch perspectives, but you're still carrying that pain.
Yes.
And so a lot of ministry people or people who are in the fivefold are experiencing church hurt, thinking that, okay, well, I left that place, I'm good, I'm just going to forget about it. But remember, forgiveness isn't forgetting.
Right.
You must remember the offense and you must acknowledge it in order to really heal from it.
Yes.
And so that one is a hard one because And a lot of them are difficult, the ones where we have people who are close to us. So if it's a spouse, or if it's your best friend, or if it's the church, when it comes unexpected, then it's so difficult to heal from it. But it is the same process. It starts with a decision. It's so important, and it's even more important for people in ministry to forgive. And I tell people, sometimes I've had a bishop in my class, and I've had ministers in my class, and I said, you know what, if you need to take the collar off, take the quick weave out, take the heels off, and get in God's face and say, you know what, I am still angry from when this happened to me, because you are bleeding on the people who you are supposed to be serving. Your wound is still open. I don't care how long you shot over it. You are still walking in unforgiveness, and people can see it. They can smell it. They can sense it. And you can't be authentic with them because you haven't been authentic with you. You haven't been authentic with God. So it's very important for you to sit in it. And this is why you have to sit in it. You have to accept it, sit in it, cry, scream, shout, journal. Do what you have to do, because that is a part of the process. But sometimes we get so busy that we've forgotten that we didn't forgive until somebody in the church does something that reminds you of something else. And then it comes up, and you're like, ooh, what was that? Oh, that was that unforgiveness, because it talks. Your wounds have words. They talk. And so it's not you, but it may be that little child. It may be that wounded minister that left the other church. And so being aware, that's why the Word of God is so important. I tell people, my workshop is not geared toward just Christians, because forgiveness is for everybody. And so it's not Lifted in Love Ministries, because I want everybody to have access. But I tell them, with the Word of God, your journey is easier.
It's a lot easier.
A lot. I can give you some steps, and I can give you some books, and I can give you some words and some quotes and some affirmations, and that's cute. But with the Word of God, because He literally takes your hand. And I always tell people, God will meet you at your want to. All you have to do is want to. That's it. You don't have to worry about the process. All you have to do is want to, and He will meet you right there. And He will tailor-make your process just for you, so that you come out on the other end victorious, and you can stop playing the victim. You can live until you die, and you can live well.
Isn't that something? I like that, the mustard seed. You just want to. Just a mustard seed of want to.
That's it.
You know, what you're saying is so absolutely liberating on so very many levels.
Yes.
And I know the chains are being broken even right now, and those that will listen to this. The Spirit of the Lord spoke to me this morning and reminded me of what Elevations is doing. Don't see it as just something we're doing here, but the ministry is reaching across the world. We check our numbers, and we know our stats that we're in, I think, Korea and Europe and Asia. I don't know, is Africa? I know Africa. And a few more that I can't remember. So this word, and what you're giving is word, is ministering to people all across the world. And I said, well, thank you, Lord. You know, you said that you would do some things I never imagined, you know. And so what you've done is somebody over in Europe or in Asia or something is sitting there saying, wow, thank you.
Oh, glory to
God.
Yes.
And I was telling Shannon, that's my daughter and her buddy.
Yes, my buddy.
Partner in crime, all of that when they were kids. But I was just telling her, I said, I was wondering, well, how will those people over there even understand what we're saying? And we thought about the military bases there, the missionaries there, people that are relocated there. And she said, and we were talking about people understand, you know, all over the world. And just because we think it's a Japanese a place that they can't understand English, it's like, no. So I want to tell you that you are elevating someone out there across the waters and here in the United States. And I thank God. I'm so excited that He allows us to be the platform that helps elevate the people that come on here. So because I don't want to forget. So I'm telling you now, thank you. I'm telling you now that you're blessing others and being blessed. You understand? So now, okay, I'm back.
No, you keep it's wonderful. And that's what I want. My vision, when I started Lifted in Love, it was for mentorship And I said, I want to be a philanthropist. And so I'm doing a nonprofit offspin of that for the Cheryl Renee Wilson Scholarship Fund. So I want to be, I want to be a blessing to teenage moms who are going to college, because my mom and I were both teenage moms who valued education highly. And so I wanted to be, when I said, well, Lord, what's the name? What is the name? So I said, oh, God is love. So it's really lifted in God, but lifted in love. And so that is exactly elevations. That's what I want to do. I want to elevate people's thinking. I want to elevate their expectation of their life. Not just breathing, but are you really walking out your purpose? And you surely can if you can't forgive. Because you can't see what's next. When you're free, you're free to hear. You're free to love. You're free to live. You're free to go to that next step that God has for you to impact other people. So when the women come to my workshop, they become affectionately known as a part of the village. And so they come, I said, the idea is to create a village of healing. Because we hear so much, women can't support each other, women are catty, and you have a lot of women bag lady, walking around with bags. But once you unpack your bag, go get your sister. Teach her about forgiveness. Teach what you've been taught. That's how we really elevate teaching what you've been taught, teaching what you've walked out. And so now we are creating a culture of healing. Instead of culture of baggage and culture of doubt, a culture of healing that opens up a whole new world. We can't go back and undo the past.
Not at all.
And a lot of us, I wouldn't redo anything in my life.
Me
Nothing.
took all of that to get you here.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
And so I try to, the colors are purple and green. The purple is for royalty. Because I look in that woman's face and I say, I don't care who left you, who touched you, who abandoned you, who hit you. You are a queen. You are royal. And the green is for hope. And there is hope. I don't care what you experience. We don't even have to go there. Let's look forward. Hence the title of the workshop, Forgiveness Forward. They write a letter to themselves or to the person and saying, today, dear such and such, today. So we're starting with today. And I tell you, they leave out of there smiling and taking selfies and jumping up and down. And so I wish that every person who is cynical or just curious would come to a workshop. Because even people who come say, well, I thought I was fine, and on the way here, God revealed to me that I needed to forgive so-and-so. God will meet you there. No matter if you're in ministry or whatever, God will meet you there. So I don't want people to have so many questions or like, well, what is it? Am I going to have to tell my business? If it's in your heart to attend a workshop, I promise you, because of the village, because of the other women, your life will be changed because your thinking will be changed. It's mental. Forgiveness is a mental thing. And so it deals as much with the mind as the heart. And so I give them the tools to reprogram the tape. Because they've been rehearsing the hurt for so long. And so what I tell them is rehearsal leads to reinfection. The more you rehearse it, the incident may have happened one time, but you reinfect yourself every time you rehearse it, every time you play the victim, every time you tell the sad story as opposed to being open to the success story. You are reinfecting yourself. So there's an accountability with forgiveness that some people don't want, because it's easy to play the victim. He hurt me and my life is just horrible now. I can't do nothing now because I'm just hurt now. That's no power. That's no courage. But when you stand up and take accountability and say, no, I am responsible for my happiness. I am responsible for my healing. I am responsible for my journey moving forward. That's big girl stuff. So don't tell me that, oh, if you forgive, you weak. No. If you forgive, you're strong. You're courageous. You're accountable. You're powerful.
You know, while you're talking, I'm thinking about if someone has been the bag lady, and they've been carrying this bag of unforgiveness for 10, 20 years, and we say, okay, I'm going to teach you forgiveness. For some reason, I have a vision of that person that has been carrying 200 pounds of excess weight, and then say, I'm going to weight surgery. And then now you're going to take my protection, you're going to take my covering, you're going to take what kept me safe, kept me isolated. So I'm thinking about when you take my anger and resentment and hurt away, what do you give, or what tell them how to replace it, you know, in case they don't make it to the workshop and they're listening right now, because you're going to feel naked.
Yes.
You know, when anything that you kept for decades or months or weeks, that's a part of you.
You're going to feel exposed.
You're going to feel vulnerable. Exactly.
And that is a scary place. You're going to be way out of your comfort zone. So it's super important to build up the inner man. Super important to surround yourself with women. You know, we all got that girlfriend we want to call who's going to agree with us no matter what. Girl, it's snowing outside. Girl, yes it is. It was snow in my car when I went out there too. It ain't snowing. It's summertime. So you need to be around girlfriends, a spiritual mentor who will help to upgird you, because you'll be weak, so they will help hold your arms up. And then you need to feed your spirit. What are you saying? Give yourself some affirmations. Put them all over the wall. Quotes about forgiveness, scriptures. Get you good reading and feed your spiritual self. We like to go to good restaurants. We like a good steak, a good lobster, a good, it was buttery. We describe, but what have you fed yourself? What have you read that was impacting your spirit and helping to move you forward? So get some good girlfriends. Get some good affirmations. Realize that that is a part of your process, and it is okay. Even after you forgive, you may get angry again. Guess what? That doesn't mean that you haven't forgiven. It's okay. It's okay to feel vulnerable, but you need those safeguards. You need those boundaries. So feed yourself. Surround yourself with people who will encourage you, and know that get excited about this time. It may seem like, oh no, but get excited about the new you. Rediscover yourself. Because the old you, that's the angry, the bitter, the always complaining, the always negative, the cynical, love don't work. No, but the new you, the real you, is crying out for something different, crying out to be uncovered. So while you feel vulnerable, really you're exposing the new you who is waiting to be fed and waiting to captivate the world with your testimony and help somebody else. Help somebody else, because you're going to forget all about you. Help somebody else. So those are just some tools that they can do.
Those are doable. Our number, 440-252-0518. That's 440-252-0518. Call in and join the conversation. What is that I see? It looks like a hand in there. Is there something behind it?
That was me shaking my hand. That was me getting passionate.
Okay. I'm thinking there's a bird in here somewhere.
Represents freedom. Flying birds.
I tell you, you ought to call in. If you've had any questions about forgiveness, if you've been walking around with hard-heartedness for some time, you've heard enough now to know that it's detrimental to your health. And now you have someone right here at your fingertips that you can't get it all, but you can call and get a little bit and then go to the workshop and get the rest. So pick up your phone, or either we're on Facebook Live. Type a comment in. Ask a question. Or also just send Clotea a shout out of encouragement and affirmation. And with that being said, I am so excited and uplifted, because everything that I will live until I die is about, like I said, LEAPS, liver education, advocacy, and prevention services. And it's about helping, empowering, and elevating the thinking of those that are afflicted with any illness. And I was so excited when you came, because, again, by me ministering healing, I see the bitterness. I see the loneliness. I see people that, you know, and this is, I guess it's in the same vein. I go visit some people who have nobody, and some people that have a whole bunch of supports. Those that have nobody, and usually it's not because of lack of blood family. A lot of us don't have blood family. But it's a heart that they're isolating. They're pushing people away. I don't trust. Or maybe throughout their lives they were so busy they didn't build relationship. And so now at the time that's needed, no one's there. And what I see is everything for them is different, whether it's healing, their joy, their continence. All is different, because people don't realize we're all fitly joined together, every single part of us. And so the emotional, that you're talking about, because this is emotional healing that we're doing right here,
Yes.
is just such a blessing. Because when we play this back, and when people hear it tonight, next week, next month, it's going to continue to reach. God's word doesn't come back void.
No.
It does whatever it's sent out there to do. And so it's going to reach somebody. And I appreciate someone Deborah Terry said, "Love you, Clotea. This is so needed." I tell you. So I just want, any pearls and gems, because I think we have, about 7 minutes left? 6? Okay. First of all, give us more of what you're doing, where you'll be at next, whatever. This is my way of saying thank you. Promote.
Absolutely, promote. Well, I do workshops once a month at a place that people find out when they register, because what the women have said is that they value the intimacy of a small group.
Yes.
And so I have them to register. The next one is July 22nd. And then I'll also be facilitating a healing circle at something called the Pink Party. And you can visit my website. We'll be at Kalahari, women just getting together and having some fun. Yeah. And so it's so funny how God, I know that this is the time for this message to come out. I know it sounds like forgiveness workshop. Wow. And so I'm like, if y'all could just get past the name and hear what God is trying to say. I reached out. I saw the flyer and I told the young lady, wow, the forgiveness workshop would be great. And long story short, we hooked up and our spirits clicked immediately. And she said, I need to have you there. You need to be at the Pink Party.
Yes.
You need to facilitate the healing circle. And so with God, all things are possible.
Yes.
And the Holy Spirit is the greatest teacher. I always crack jokes, say, I have an advantage because the Holy Spirit is my friend. And he gives me great ideas.
Yes.
He gives me great lesson plans. And he is an awesome friend to have.
Yes.
And so that whole piece of being able to help women begin the journey. So July 22nd is the next workshop. We're going to break in August, so we're just going to have coffee and conversations with the village. So I want to check up on the people of the village to see how they're doing. Oh my gosh, when they come back, they are radiating. And I talk about the skills that they're using. Okay, because forgiveness is a learned skill, which is so exciting. Because again, it's not just for the Christian, not just for the Muslim, not just for the women. It is a skill. If you want to learn and you have a want to, God will meet you there and give you the proper tools and skills. So when the village comes to support the other women starting their journey, they are radiating. They're like, and this is what I'm doing. I've been reading my affirmations, and I've been this, and I've been that. So they've acquired some nice skills to put in their toolbox. So I want to check in with them and just have them all to meet each other. Again, this whole elevating, this idea of women, this culture of healing. And then we'll resume workshops back again in September, October, November, December. And I will post them on my page. And anyone is welcome to come. The village is always welcome to come. And I'm looking forward to I've had a couple of speaking engagements at churches and things like that. But if you friend me on Facebook, Clotea Mack, then you'll be able to keep up. I always try to put it out there. Just want to encourage people to be open, because I know that there are people who are thinking about it, who know there's an area. I got an email yesterday. I'm coming to the workshop. There's things I've been holding on for too long. And that was, I said, absolutely. And so she's going to come. They want to release. They want to be free. And I tell you, once you taste that freedom, you cannot go back to being bound. You cannot go back to being bound.
I thank you so much. I thank you so very much. Listeners, I know you've been blessed. I have no doubt. I don't have to ask, and you don't have to tell me. I know that you have been blessed. Before we end, I want to let you know again about the CD, By His Stripes, a CD of healing scriptures. Can you see that? That's me on there. I am so cute.
She really is. I'm like, what?
And so it's a donation of $10 or whatever you want to, what is backwards when they see it on there?
I'll be buying 2 to give away at the next workshop, ladies.
All right. Also, and again, we have jerseys available. They are like a football jersey, but if you can see, and it's going to be backwards too, I'm thinking over there. I Will Live Until I Die is also on here. We have luncheons. I Will Live Until I Die, which is our theme is making every moment count. Our next one will be in September, and we'll be giving you more information. It's an afternoon of luncheon inspiration. We always have a guest speaker. It's a healing luncheon for those that are dealing with illness and any other thing that has you in bondage, and for those who love them. So we'll be giving an update on that so that you'll come out and join us. Clotea has told you about her healing workshops, and while you're talking, Chloe, I see this vision of Forgiveness Institute that you're going to have. I just saw it while you were talking in the spirit. I have one moment, and so I'm glad I'm being, someone's over in the corner, because I was getting ready to get excited all over again. I thank all of you for listening in. I thank our callers. I thank those of you that are going to listen later. I'm thanking you in advance.
Yes.
I know you're going to be blessed. Walk in your blessing. Thank you. Have a marvelous day. Goodbye. So, is this all?
That's the device off. Ooh. Let me turn it off.